Hello divas, dudes, and dolls, I'm Kara Couture, and welcome back to my showy, showstopper, and show ready little review show, Very Slay, where we go over each and every main stage runway look on Drag Race Espana Season 4. Hopefully, the audio is a little bit better this week. I will find out when I edit this. Also, apologies, our heat just kicked on. It snowed today, it's very cold out, and I'm trying to get through these as quick as I can because I have to hit the road and drive for an hour to get to an open stage tonight so I can start making my little debut over into my new drag scene that I've kind of moved into, and hopefully start getting some gigs because the doll needs some money. But in the meantime, we are here today to review the makeover looks from Drag Race Espana's latest episode. And I have to say, this was a great week for makeover challenges. We had an amazing one on UK last episode. And this week on Espana, I think, in all honesty, this might have been my favorite makeover episode in the history of Drag Race, period. Because it wasn't so much that they were making over another contestant, in that it was a makeover but also a design challenge at the same time. They were paired up with very well-known established Spanish drag icons who then came in, brought a look for themselves that really said something about their own drag, and our remaining top 5 had to design a look for themselves that fit in line with their aesthetic of their drag mothers, because instead of being the drag moms to their new drag babies, they became the drag daughters themselves of these established matriarchal figures in the Spanish drag scene. So I thought this was amazing because we really got to get an in-depth look at what the drag scene used to be like in the 70s and 80s or even 20 years ago. And I wish that Drag Race US would do this, and honestly, every other drag race. This was an incredible concept. Overall, my favorite episode of the season. But as I'm sure you all know by now, when we get into these looks, if I thought that the looks were just fine, weren't anything amazing, that they got the job done, it's gonna be an okay. If I absolutely love it, it's a slay. And if for any reason I just thought it was a really big miss, just didn't do it for me, we give it a nay. That's all in efforts to find my weekly slay of the day, my favorite look of the entire episode. Whichever look takes that top spot today will go head to head against La Coco's Royal Fashion Week look to battle it out to be our slay of the season. We just have the reunion and the finale left after today, so we are getting really down to the wire in determining who that final look that I'm going to be illustrating is going to be. And again, as always, sneak peeks of that illustration along with anything else I'm working on. Currently, it's Marina Summers, my slay of the season piece for UK vs. the World Season 2, which is very, very detailed. So it's taking me a shit ton of time. I'm telling you, it's gonna be worth it because it looks so gorgeous already. You can see a little lovely post at the end of the week along with every other season that we are reviewing on the channel in one big review recap of This Week in Drag TV over on my Patreon by joining as a free member in order to access that. Now with that all out of the way, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those lovely little things if you want to keep even more drag fashion coverage in your subscription feeds. And with that out of the way, let's head on over and start talking about these makeovers. Alrighty, first up this week, we have Vampirasian. And this look, honestly, these are my favorites of the week. I'm kind of spoiling the end of the video already, but I was surprised she didn't win. I think just on an objective look level, these were the best looks. The only thing that I thought was kind of a weird critique was that her drag mom had this pop of color with the hair choice that Vampy didn't have, and had Vampy brought that color into her look in some way, it would have clinched the win for her, but that was the only negative thing they had to say. Everything else was just phenomenal, and I thought this was a real slam dunk of a look. I love the silhouette of this here. I love the sheer nature of this, the ruffle, the way that's all treated. And honestly, Vampy could not have gotten a better look to work off of because this base look alone is already pretty within her wheelhouse. This is another really successful piece for Vampy from me, so it's gonna be a slay. Then up next we have our eliminated queen this week, Mariana Stars. I thought the color palette was kind of cute. I think it's a little too bright green for my liking. I think the ruffle really kind of stole the show. And I believe that Anna said, and I could be very wrong about this, but I believe Mariana wore this coat already on the runway for another look. But when you look at just the outfit itself, she made a base bodysuit and put a skirt around it that she revealed out of. Her having this like graduate idea, I thought was kind of weird when she could have very easily just gone pageant and just had like a little crown. I think that would have made much more sense, especially in line with her drag mother's aesthetic. I think that this was overall a miss. I think I am gonna give it a nay just because I think her look is so basic, especially at this point in the competition. So I'm not at all surprised that she went home. Then up next we have La Niña Delantro, and I was so excited that she's been like these last few weeks really doing well. This look I think is quintessential her aesthetic, and the fact that again she made this coming from being in the bottom to the first episode for a design challenge and then coming out swinging with this like really fun punky scene girl aesthetic that really went in line with her drag mother's look and this sort of punky underground spirit that both of them have. I think La Niña and her drag mom had a wonderful storyline in terms of like similarities between the two of them that really allowed her to pull some fun stuff out and really just like knock it out of the park in the best way. I thought this was phenomenal. It's a slay for me. Then up next we have La Coco and her drag mother here, and her biggest problem this week was ultimately that she just idolized her drag mother too much on a personal level, that she like couldn't get past not having her be the one in the spotlight in a way. So the presentation of their look just wasn't that great, especially when it came down to the performance side of the challenge this week. I don't think this is horrible. I think the headpieces are cute. The headpiece she made definitely feels like it's in the same family as the one that her drag mom had. What I didn't like about this was I just thought that the length of the dress was too short. I wish she would have gone down with this, just added another layer of fringe. She could have done like a high-low to have more legs, just to have like her aesthetic kind of come through a little bit more with this sort of design. I hate this hair. I really, really hate this little bob. I love a bob, just not this one. I think this is definitely her weakest look that we've seen on the runway for quite a long time. So I am going to give this look an okay. I don't think it's horrible. I think she just needed a little bit more. At least it's better than Mariana's. And then finally we have our challenge winner this week, Chloe Vitu, and her drag mother, who was one of the first drag performers she ever saw perform live, which is a pretty cool coincidental moment. And I think what worked about this was, like the judges said, she has this really chaotic energy to her drag that she's had a really hard time really finessing and making it really controlled and precise. She took the flamenco elements. She managed to do it in a way that still felt very club girl, very like sexy slut that is just kind of Chloe's whole thing. I'm still not a big fan of the giant tits, but with her drag mom's aesthetic, I think it makes sense and it works and I'm not upset about it. I think ultimately they had wonderful chemistry on stage. I liked seeing Chloe do something that was a little bit different for her, especially considering that she's not a seamstress. And of the time she's worn this breastplate, this is definitely the most well put together, like in terms of proportions and effectiveness. I wish that it wasn't just like basically a bodysuit with a huge titty window and a little ruffle here and there, but it's fine. I'm gonna give her look an okay. I don't think she should have won the challenge, but I understand why she did get the win in terms of her own individual storyline. This would have been like her moment to get it. I mean, it's the last episode competitively before the finale, so kind of has to get a win in now if she's going to get one at all. So I'm glad that she did, because it evened out the season in terms of who all's left. Everyone has one win. Coco has two. They've all been in the bottom at least once, except for Vampy, because she pulled herself out of it and put La Niña there instead. But again, yeah, it's okay for me. Alrighty, like I said before, I did kind of spoil it right at the beginning. My slate of the day this week is going to be Vampiraceon. I thought this was so lovely. You could really tell the connection that she had with her drag mother was wonderful and authentic and really genuine. And I thought these looks were just the best ones, objectively speaking, and from a fashion perspective. So we put this look up against La Coco's Rural Fashion Week. I had a hard time with this one because, like last week, I think I could really make something beautiful out of both of these. But I am going to keep La Coco in that top spot again. Hopefully the reunion will give us something really, really incredible. And don't forget, as always, if you join my Patreon at the $5 tier level the week after the finale has aired, I will be doing a bonus video exclusively for my $5 patrons, for my good Judes and Judies, going over the looks that we did not get to see on the runway that were from the eliminated girls. I will be including the lost looks from the reunion in that episode as well. The only time they get brought back to be discussed for the main show here is during the finale, because it's a finale runway and I gotta milk those watch hours every little bit that I can. But that's it for this one. We will see you next time. Be sure, as always, to go out there, stay kind, stay queer, and make sure that your day is very slay.